Good afternoon. We are here doing our SWASU computer science project talks, and these are specifically for the software engineering class. I'm here with Nick and Jessica. If you would please tell us a little bit about yourselves. Your name, where you're from, and when you will graduate from SWASU.
I'm Jessica Tsunami. I'm from Clinton, Oklahoma, just a little ways away. And
When you graduate.
when I graduate, it should be about another year, year and a half.
All right, I'm Nick. I'm from Mustang, Oklahoma. Still not too far away. I plan to graduate next May.
Outstanding. Nick, what is it you plan on doing after you finish at SWASU?
I actually plan to eventually get my doctorate in artificial intelligence.
Fun times, man. That will be a very interesting career choice.
I think it will.
I look forward to working with you on that. That's always been a passion of mine as well. Jessica, how about you? You're already pretty well established over at Clinton Schools. Is that going to be something you plan on continuing on, or?
Yes, I plan to continue as the tech at Clinton Public Schools, and hopefully someday maybe even move up to tech director. But also, as a little side thing, I hope to someday have my own business where I can refurbish and repair computers and then sell them or service them.
Outstanding. Now you two have had kind of a variety of things that you've worked on throughout the semester. Originally, I wanted you two paired together because I feel like you both have excellent experience using Macintosh computers, and I was really excited about that. I know with the public schools, Macintosh has had a long-running partnership, and also, Nick, you've got extensive background. In fact, you've been able to do some things with Macs that we said couldn't be done. One of the first projects you started on was the MPI cluster. Could you tell us a little bit about that project?
Sure. Okay. So, what it kind of boiled down to at the beginning was just wanting to see if we could actually do OpenMPI on a Mac, which is not natively supported as of right now. So I kind of broke the Macs to my will, for lack of a better word, and I actually got OpenMPI running on the Macs and created a cluster out of it.
Outstanding. That was quite a feat. Now, later on, we did move on, and we came up with a second project. And again, Jessica, I also had you in mind for this project because I know a lot of the schools are going to kind of the central model where you have all your software installed on one box, and then everybody else kind of remotes into it. Again, possibly with a Mac or something. The Jupyter project. The Jupyter Hub and a Google cluster. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. So Jupyter Hub and Jupyter Notebooks as a whole has become kind of a cool thing in the computer science world. It's basically like a more dynamic version of GitHub. It's going to allow, what I wanted to do actually was let students be able to use it and actually help them learn how to program a little bit easier. So they'll be able to basically program Java or anything else on an iPad if they have it with them.
Outstanding. Now, Jessica, your school has already started to make some moves in that direction, right?
Yes.
What all's going on out there at Clinton?
We actually have a computer science class being taught where they do programming. It's kind of a concurrent type thing. They actually have a video coming in from OU, but if we could get them using Jupyter and get the teacher trained in this, I think it would open so many doors to these students, and I think it would just be really great for them to move past the video class to having the teacher there and doing it with them.
Outstanding. I'm also very excited about getting the students involved in a remote environment where they don't necessarily see if it's a small desktop application or a desktop computer that they're running on or a multi-million-dollar supercomputer, and that they don't have any care in the world what the hardware actually looks like. They just know they're doing the good, fighting the good fight, answering the questions that need answered. All right, so I would like to ask you a different question. Do you have any good stories related to the project, real moments of triumph or just kind of despair throughout this semester?
I have one. Whenever we were working a few months ago on actually getting the OpenMPI project working on the Macs, I believe Everett, you were there with me, helping me out on this, and we had been working for 2 or 3 hours on the same thing, and nothing was working. And then once we looked up something. It was the most minor change. We plugged it in. We were just expecting it not to run. We gave it about 10 minutes, and it worked. And we were just sitting there in silence for a few minutes and just like, that actually did a thing.
It is a great feeling to get to do the thing.
Yeah.
Now, you folks have been working all semester, and also you've had a lot of projects that you've taken on before, and had to follow through to the end. My next question is, what advice would you give to somebody that's starting out on a major project? So, Jessica, in your experience, especially looking at what you've done with the schools, what would you tell to somebody that wants to follow in your footsteps?
I would tell them to definitely get to know their team, and know what the team is capable of doing. If you don't know what your team can do, then you're going to be at a loss later on. So definitely try to get to know your team and then work with them as best as you can and work around any conflicts that may come up.
Outstanding. Thank you. All right, Nick, you had 2 big projects for sure this semester, and you've had lots in the past. Same question for you, sir. If somebody wanted to follow on with one of your projects, other than, run, what advice would you give them?
Don't use Max. In all actuality, I would suggest don't give up, because like I said, we were working on the same thing for hours and hours and weeks, and we changed one thing and it worked. Don't give up. Look at the documentation if there is any. If there's not, document what you're doing. It can be beneficial to anybody.
Outstanding. Thank you. Okay, so Nick, I've got another question just for you. One of the projects you worked on was setting up a Google cluster. How did that go, and what's the status there?
Actually, the Google cluster went pretty flawlessly. Not at first, but it has been. I followed an incredible guide from Jupyter itself. Right now, it's kind of on pause because whenever you do start an account, they give you $300 credit because you are running stuff on their servers. So right now it is on pause while I try and figure out that status, but it went fantastically.
So the good news is that you've done $300 worth of work
Yes.
on a Google cluster. The bad news is you've smoked all your $300.
Correct.
So I guess the follow-on to that is, as an alumni, what are the sorts of things that would make you want to donate back to SWOSU Computer Science? What are some things that you would like to see us do so that you'd be willing to financially support us? I think maybe this Google cluster
That's
seems
exactly
like that.
it, yeah. I love seeing students actually go out of their way to learn something. Like, I know myself, I've spent so many hours outside of class trying to learn and trying to do things. That drive and passion I've only found at SWOSU. That would just drive me to pay and just give back to the community.
Thank you, Nick. Now, Jessica, a slightly different question for you. As somebody involved in education, what does SWOSU Computer Science need to do so that you'd be willing to encourage your students to come here to SWOSU and to work with us?
I think that the computer science program is great. I think we should just get a little more out into the high schools. Usually when representatives for SWOSU come and talk, they mention pharmacy and music, and it's very rare that I hear them actually mention computer science. When I was in high school, I didn't hear them mention it. So I would like for even just maybe 1 or 2 of the computer science professors to come out and tell a little bit, even if it was just in that computer science class that they have, or they could bring all the seniors in. I think it would be really beneficial. It would get kids starting to think about things that they might not know that we even offer here.
Outstanding. Well, thank you both so very much for sitting down and sharing a little bit about your projects with us. I'd like to remind everyone, if you have any questions about these projects, please do a Google search for Jeremy Everett at Southwestern Oklahoma State University, and please send me an email. Thank you both for your time, and everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you.